Hiya! I'm making Willow's coat today, so I'm really excited with this stuff. I made myself one. If you haven't seen that video, you can go back and watch that. It's on the coats there on the back of the door. I've been wearing it. It's really nice and comfy. So it's time to do Willow's. So to do Willow's, I'm going to be cloning a coat that I already have that fits really well. I'm doing that because this is a thin fleece. It's a thin layer of fleece that she's going to have, and I want it to sit nicely on her back, and Willow's will whip it so she has a very sexy curve. She's curvy like me. So right, so I'm going to clone one of her coats to make this one. When I make her next coat, which is a fair coat, I'm going to make the pattern from scratch. So that's the two ways that I know how to do it for myself. You can buy loads of patterns for dog coats. I have bought one once and I tried it, and the fitting just wasn't right. It was far too small, even though I measured her. So this one's cloning. Next one is make my own pattern piece, and I'll show you how to measure your dog and everything, and even to little hacks to make it fit better. So I'll get set up and we'll get started. So to clone Willow's coat, basically I laid this on just some normal grease-proof paper. You can buy special pattern paper, but this is fine. You just need a permanent pen or a Sharpie to mark it properly because it's waxy. So I had my greaseproof paper, I laid this out, I traced around it, gave myself a seam allowance, marked where the straps fall, and that is basically her pattern for a jacket. And then for the strap, I just measured it out, and drew it. That was that, really. Now you'll notice when I make this, I'm going to cut out 2 pieces of fabric rather than put this on the fold and do one. If it's a flat, really straight flat back, you can put it on the fold, but this does have a slight curve to it. You can't see here, but you'll see it when it's on the fabric. So it has a slight curve, and I don't want it, with her having a curvy bum, I don't want it to lay flat and stick out. I want it to fit really nice because it is only a thin piece of fleece. So 2 pieces, and then I'll sew them together. More long-winded, but when I do the next coat, that's a fair coat, so it won't matter with that one. That one will be a flat back, and I'll cut it on the fold. So this is basically the setup. I've got 2 layers of fabric. I've folded the fabric over, cutting 2, so I'll be cutting 2 separate pieces of this out and 2 separate pieces of the band. I want the band to be double thickness, so I'll be sewing that right sides together and then bagging it out. And then this one is just going to be single layer. If you've got weights, weigh them down, maybe chalk round, or pin. I won't be using pins, not with this paper, it's a little bit thick and awkward. So I'm just going to weigh it down and chalk around and then cut it. Ta-da! I've cut it out, and I've done this. I'm going to do the strap first. So this, we sew right sides together on the seam allowance, and then I'm going to really trim it, or I'm going to put it through the overlocker to get rid of the excess. That might be a better option, to flatten it down with it being thick fleece. I could just put it through the overlocker and stitch it, but I'm not that confident with my overlocker yet. And then when I've got it all the right way, nice and flat and ironed, and it's been pulled back inside out, I'm then going to top stitch it all the way around. Well, what that means, normally when you bag something out, you have to leave a gap, and either leave a gap somewhere in the middle to pull it all through, or at the end, and then you do some slip stitch to pull it all together. But I'm going to top stitch it, so it won't matter. I'll just be able to tuck it in and top stitch it. Do you know, I've been really lazy today. I can't be bothered to thread my overlocker and sort it, so I'm just going to stitch and trim it down. It is, after all, a play coat for Willow. Get that set up, and then I'll speed it up so you're not sat staring at me putting this through the sewing machine. Oops. Okay, that's that sewn. Going to trim the corners off, trim these down. It's called grading, which is to cut them in steps just to make it a little bit thinner. This is because I can't bother to sort my overlocker out. And then I'll be able to turn it inside out, or right side out rather. They're not the neatest of jobs, but I've graded it so it won't be as bulky when I turn it the other way, and they'll get caught in the top stitch anyway, so it'll get flattened down. Okay, so I've pushed the corners out. I'm going to press it. If Willow's dressmaker, as I call her, a designer, if she was making this, when she does make this type of thing, she top stitches it beautifully, but she'll do extra lines so it becomes really lovely and flat and neat. For what I want it for, I'm not particularly bothered about that, so I'm not going to do that. It's going to be quite a sluggish, sloppy coat. And then the ends, just going to fold those bits under and probably have to pin them, and then that'll get caught up in the top stitch as I stitch it across, and it'll all be fastened. Yay! Okay, that's my strap, top stitched all the way down. Like I say, if it was done better, it'd be some more lines of cross stitch to keep it nice and flat, but for what I'm using it for, this is fine. I'm going to put the Velcro straps on later because I want to position them and know where they're going on Willow's tummy. Okay, so I've got two full pieces, as I mentioned. Now on Willow's, she does have Velcro here on this front bit there. I tend not to use them, to be honest. Willow's not fond of putting a coat on, so the best way to do it is to have something where you just literally almost lasso her and put her head through, and then quickly strap her in, and then she's fine. So nothing complicated with Willow. So I'm going to stitch this. That's not going to be any Velcro on there. It'll just be Velcro on the strap. So obviously this is the bottom bit. So this is going to be hemmed as a top stitch. And then the rest all sewn together. So I'm going to pin it first and then tack it so it all stays in one place, and then I'll take it to the machine. But one of the reasons I wanted to tack it actually was so that I could just give it a dummy try on Willow, but being a typical whippet, she's had a walk and she's absolutely out for the count. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and sew it. I'll be sewing all the way across, the two pieces together all the way across the top, and then I'm sewing this bit here, which, because I'm not velcroing it, there might be a little bit of overlap on that, so after I've done that I might have to adjust it, but that's no big deal. And then I'm going to hem it, and the hem will just be a top stitch that I do all the way around. Easy, she says. Do you know, I think my bobbin might run out of cotton. I'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully I might just at least get this one bit done. Hopefully. So it's all been stitched across the top. It's now joined together and stitched across the front as well. Like I said, I might have to adjust that, but I'm not too worried with it being just a play coat. If it's got a little bit of extra room in it, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to hem it now. I'm going to go all the way around, hem it by the seam allowance, and then I'll fix it by top stitching all the way around there. There's a little bit of jiggery pokery when you're doing this, because it's on, what you're doing is you're folding your hem in on the, it's an outer material that you fold in to a lesser space, so you have to use lots of pins and maneuver it round, because you're sewing on a, basically on a curve, like a little circle. So I don't find this very easy, but I know that more experienced sewers, it's a doddle. So I'm just taking it slow. Ish. I always find that bit really difficult, getting, you know, sewing around a curve with your hem. It's almost like you've got to constantly bend the fabric in and keep twisting your machine. So that bit is the collar that's going to go over her neck. Obviously it's single-sided, so it's not something that I would fold back unless I want to put something on there. I could put a little fair trim on it, but it's for playing. So that's going to stay down and cover the back of her neck, and it'll just scoop round her head quite nicely. No velcro needed. Hemming now is for the rest of the outside, so there's quite a lot here to go around. So I'm just going to get on and do it. There's no point you watching me. It's beginning to look like a doggy coat. I just need to mark out now where the band goes. I'm just going to fix on there. Thereabouts. I'll fix it on in the middle first there, and then I can judge where the Velcro's going. I just got the coat back out just to check where I'm putting the length of the strap. So to the centre there to there, that's 10.5 inches. So I know from my markings, this bit will be the bit that has the Velcro underneath, and then the other bit will come round and under and strap on, and that will come down and fix it. So that's where it's going. So I'm going to stitch it along the back stitch line, and then I'm going to reinforce it again just at this side and this side to attach it, so it's got a nice big firm strappy attachment there. Hey, nearly forgot the Velcro. I've got 2 7-inch strips like that. I'm putting the spicy strip on here, 2 of them on there, and then the soft strip will go at the other side. Just having a nice long strip means you've got plenty of room for adjustment. So I'm going to stitch those on. I was going to stitch that on first, but then I'm faffing about. If I've got this free, it's going to be a lot easier to stitch these on. So I'll get on with that now. Right, that's that side. My 2 sticky Velcro straps. So that'll be on that side, and then the belt will wrap round and fix on there. So the soft other side of the Velcro stripes are going to go on there. Right, I'm ready to attach it. So just to secure it, I've done a centre stitch and then top stitched a centimetre on either side, just to make it extra secure. So do we have a dog coat? And I was so close to running out of cotton as well, black cotton. I ain't got any more, so that was lucky. Just tidy that up. So it hasn't taken me long at all, just a morning's worth of work, and I've got a nice play coat for Willow. I just need to try it on, because she won't be impressed, because she'll be like, this isn't designer Izzy and Finn, this isn't Izzy and Finn couture, what is it, Paul Mark? I don't think she'll mind. Okay, 1 dog coat. I just got to try it on her and take her for a walk in it.